What's good, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. We rolling with the dub tonight, the close nail-biting victory tonight, 127 to 126 in Dallas. We were led by 30 points by Kyle Kuzma, but Luka did get his, dropping 41 points. But looking at this game, coming after the Rui Hachimura trade, is this sustainable with this road trip? We're going to talk about that and more next on Locked On Wizards.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's good, everybody? Again, this is your boy Brandon Scott again with my guy, the real Ed Oliver. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official sportsbook of Locked On, making every moment more. Visit FanDuel.com/Locked On today to get started. So, big nail-biting victory tonight. Much-needed victory. You know, and obviously the eyes of Wiz Nation was on this team following, the Rui Hachimura trade. So, man, what stood out to you with this victory tonight?
Well, first things first, the Wizards have not lost a game since the Spencer Dinwiddie and Bertans trade for Porzingis and a second-round pick. Well, we got a second-round pick for Porzingis and Dinwiddie and Bertans. So I'm very happy about that, especially with the way things ended in D.C. with Dinwiddie and Bertans for sure, and all the things that Dinwiddie and Bertans have had to say. But all that aside, DeLon Wright had a huge steal, man. That was huge. I thought Denny had a great take to the basket, got an and one. That was clutch. Kuzma had a great game with 30 points. Definitely took some tough shots, struggled from the three-point line. One thing I will say that I am disappointed with, and I hate to start off with – I started off with the good. I'm gonna talk about my bad and ugly. So Bradley Beal in the clutch, man. Wes Unseld Jr., they have to do something different. I get Bradley Beal is supposed to be the number one guy. He's supposed to be the number one option. I get it. But time and time again – we see him dribbling off his foot, turning the ball over. This time he got doubled. It's like he doesn't see the double team coming. It's like he's not prepared for a defense to trap him or to come at him at all. Like it's just like he's not ready for it. And we've seen him do well in the clutch throughout his career, but more times than not, we've seen a turnover. We've seen a travel. We've seen double dribbles. We've seen dribbling the ball off his feet. We were very fortunate. I'm not going to say we're lucky. We were very fortunate to win that game. To turn the ball over like that and still win. DeLon Wright had a huge steal at the end. It did look like DeLon kicked the ball up in the air a little bit and then he got it, but it is. I think he did tip it with his hand. I could be wrong, but that was a huge play by him. Kuzma missed the free throw as well. That was concerning. That scared me a little bit, especially given Luka 5 seconds left, only up by one, and Luka got a lot of calls. I want to see how many times Luka got to the free throw line. He shot 12 free throws. It feels like he shot 20 free throws tonight, to be honest with you, as many times he got to the free throw line. And then the call that they had where we were in the bonus, where they pushed Kuz out of bounds, they tried to challenge. They didn't try. They did challenge it. That was ridiculous. I didn't even think they should have let them challenge that call. That's just a blatant foul. I mean, he clearly pushed Kuzma out of bounds. I don't even see why the refs even went to the booth and reviewed it. That was ridiculous to me. The whole take foul situation, Dwight Powell, I think that was a take foul. And then they tried to call a flagrant on Bradley Beal. I thought that was ridiculous as well. Then they got a couple texts. Jason Kidd got a tech. I want to say Luka got a tech as well. So the officiating, was it perfect? No, it wasn't. But we're not going to blame it on that. We're not going to say that they swayed the game in any way. But in a positive note, Will Barton played a lot better than what he has in the past. This is one of his better games for sure. Corey Kispert, I thought he had a solid game for the most part. He had 2 threes, 4 for 4 from the free throw line, 14 points. Getting the start with Porzingis being out and Rui being traded, he had to step up. Denny was huge with a double-double, 15 points and 10 boards. He had a big rebound. When I want to say Luka missed a free throw, that was huge. And he made some really good defensive plays. He had a couple steals and a couple deflections. He had 3 steals and 3 assists. And he got in his bag a little bit. Offensively, we wanted him to improve. And I think he got in his offensive bag a little bit, got in some bag of tricks, got to the free throw line a couple times. So I was impressed with Denny's play tonight. Monte Morris was better tonight with 13 points as well. Gafford fouled out. We'll talk about him a little bit later. Anthony Gill had to step up as well with Gafford fouling out. He had to play the center minutes. Who else? Taj Gibson played. He didn't score at all. But overall, this was a huge win. DeLon Wright, he won Defensive Player of the Game, a defensive belt, 6 assists. He was just a free agent still, man. He's our best defender by far, and we don't win this game without DeLon Wright tonight.
Absolutely not. DeLon Wright showed his value to this team tonight. He really did. You look at the stat line, 10 points with 6 assists. That's still the game. I mean, DeLon, man, he's just been that pivotal figure on the bench as far as defense, leadership, running that second unit. So yeah, definitely, man. Before we get into it, but definitely he gets the belt. He was that still seals the game. But looking at other players on the team, man, let's start with the starting unit real quick. I felt Kispert and Morris played solid, man. They really played solid. If you're looking at Morris, 13 points, 3 rebounds, but 5 assists. Bradley Beal, 22 points. Now you was 7 for 17. Yeah, I'm with you, man. The turnovers, in crunch time, they continue to be an issue. I just think that somebody else needs to get the ball in crunch time. I think, Bradley Beal bringing the ball up, look, how many times are you going to try it till it fails? I don't think he's the guy, man. You need to somebody else needs to bring the ball up. I don't know how many times he needs to turn it over till we need to change that. But, stepping outside of that, man, I felt like Bill really orchestrated team ball tonight. I felt like we played as a team. Ball movement was fluid. Very little ISO outside of that play. Gafford, 9 points, 7 rebounds, but only played 18 minutes fouling out. Fouling out has always been an issue that Gaff has, and he's got to short it up, man. He's got to evolve a little bit from foul trouble. He's guilty for always getting those pump fakes, man. He's guilty for catching the pump fakes all the time. He's got to really short that up. Looking at the bench unit, we all know what we're all looking for, right? Who was going to step up and be that guy scoring off the bench? We're really being traded. Denny stepped up, 15 points, 10 rebounds. I can't say much negative about Denny tonight. The defense was on point. What was it? 3 steals. So Denny was on point tonight defensively. 15 points. So yeah, and like you said, Will Barton, 8 points in 15 minutes. So he stepped up. Obviously he's going to get more playing time, especially going towards the trade deadline. I do believe that Barton is going to be traded. $14 million can go towards another point guard. $14 million can go towards another 3-and-D wing or 3-and-D wing. So I think he's definitely he's being advertised a little bit. So, Gil came in, not flashy, but he did his job, 6 points, 4 rebounds. So I'm very impressed. This is a good team victory, man. Very good team victory. Ball movement. We always say that when the ball movement is fluid, most of the time they win the game. They win as a team, or rather when they play as a team, they win as a team. So now I'm very impressed. Now, what you said, like you said, with the positive comes the negatives. A few things negative. Obviously the foul troubles. And you look at that hurt us a little bit. 64 points in the paint by the Mavericks. So the Mavericks they ruled the paint. It was Powell. Powell was getting a lot of love in the paint tonight. So that was when time and time again we get cooked in the paint. So that's one thing I want to see shored up. Now, is it going to get shored up within the next couple of weeks? I don't know. With KP being out, Gaff being that guy, can Taj kind of step it up? I see points in the paint going to be an issue going forward. I don't know how you feel about him leaving Gaff in, with him being in foul trouble. I felt like he should have made a change and brought Gaff in a little later in the fourth quarter. Double teams, we got to quit being so double team heavy. I think they capitalize off double teams. Like you said, Dwight Powell, a lot of those passes with Powell, he was wide open in the paint, just came from double teams. And, again, a little bit back to Bill. I'm not going to beat a dead horse, but again, find somebody else to bring the ball up. But that would be my negatives, man. That would be my negatives. Overall, this is a good team victory, man. Much needed team victory because it comes against a team who's 5th in the West. So this is a team who's challenging for a playoff position in the Western Conference. So, I mean, looking forward, we're going to get into a preview in a little bit, but, looking forward, with this being a 5-game road trip, man, we could come out of this road trip gaining ground, trying to get back to 500. So before we get into our players of the game and defensive belts and a preview for tomorrow night's game against the Houston Rockets, tonight's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are here. We're really excited about our new sports betting partner for Locked On because they're the number 1 sports book in America. That's right, FanDuel. And if you're new to FanDuel, that's even better. They have so many great features that make betting on sports fun and easy. New customers join today and get started with $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Just sign up at FanDuel.com/locked on. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. Plus, you can even combine your bets for a chance at a bigger payout with the same game parlay. All on the same app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So, football fans, don't miss out. Place your first $5 bet to get $150 in free bets, win or lose, at FanDuel.com/locked on. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So, I can't recommend it enough. I know me and E, we are heavy on FanDuel. It's very user friendly. The same game parlays, they can get you. The night we were talking about that before the episode about trying to get, what was it? How many assists was it from Kuz?
I did a alternate on Kuz, so they had it on there at over 3.5, but I put it at 2.5, and he still didn't get it. He wasn't passing the ball. I don't blame him. He had 30 points, but he wasn't passing it towards the end of the game. He did have one pass to Corey Kispert, and Corey Kispert missed the 3.
So yeah, those same game parlays can get you. So again, I definitely recommend FanDuel. So getting next, we are going to do our players of the game and defensive belt. So who's your player of the game, and who gets the defensive belt for you tonight?
Defensive belt, it has to be DeLon Wright, man. Even before that, still he was just being a pass. There was one time where he dove on the ground and got a steal from Luka. He had 3 steals in the game. He's just a pest, man. He's running around with his hair on fire, 110%. I mean, he's our best defender on the team. It's not even close. You could say Denny. Denny's in the stratosphere with him. You could say Gafford blocking shots here and there, Porzingis protecting the rim. But honestly, from a guard standpoint, just getting down in the stance, man, DeLon Wright, he gets the job done. No knock on Denny. Denny's a good defender as well. But DeLon has really come in, and when he can change this defense, man. When he was out for X amount of games, man, we struggled without him. And the Wizards are playing so much better with him in the lineup. They just are. Player of the game, I want to go with Kuz. He frustrated me with some of the shots down the stretch, but man, he had 6 points at the half, man. And for him to put up 30 in this game, that was huge. We needed some scoring. We need some scoring power. It still looks like Bill was playing well, but he missed some layups. He missed a couple of layups, some tough shots. It still looks like he's trying to get back in rhythm from coming back from the hamstring injury. So I'm gonna go with Kuz for player of the game.
Man, great minds think alike, brother. Because I'm gonna roll the same way. Kyle Kuzma is a player of the game. Like you said, 6 points at a half, to be able to drop the 30 piece, coming back in the second half on fire. Now I'm with you. The shot selection can be frustrating sometimes. Mm-hmm. He's very quick on the trigger with his jump shot, especially 3-pointers. And this show tonight, he had some bad shots, but he also had some really good shots. And that's what you're going to get with Kuz, man. He's an aggressive guy who likes to score. He uses his frame to drive the lane. So with aggression, you're going to have those type of performances. But I mean, efficiency wise, look at it. He was very proficient tonight. So looking at defensive belt, at first I was going to say Denny, 3 steals. I felt like he played well defensively, but DeLon, we don't win the game without that steal. DeLon proves his worth. Defensive wise, leadership wise, just orchestrating the second unit. You don't have to be an all-star to be a pivotal piece of a franchise. Before Rui left, you could say that Rui and DeLon were those guys that were very key pieces. But now with Rui, being in LA, DeLon, very important piece, if not one of the most important acquisitions we got for this team this offseason. Because, when he's on the court, this team plays defense better. He runs that second unit. He's got leadership. The dog in him. The effort. He is a very important piece of this team. So yeah, he definitely gets the defensive belt. So all right, looking forward, second game of back-to-back tomorrow night, 8:00 at Houston. Now the Houston Rockets, young team, young hungry team. Now looking at a potential starting 5 real quick for the Houston Rockets. Ty Washington looks like he's slated to start at point guard tomorrow night. At the 2 guard, Jalen Green. At the 3, old vet Eric Gordon, man. He feels like he's been around for a long time. At the 4, it's slated to be Jabari Smith Jr., but it's subject to change. It might be Tari Easton, depending on, because Jabari Smith is day-to-day. And, of course, at the center position, Sengun. So, what are your keys to victory, and where should the focus be defensively tomorrow night? Should it be on Jalen Green, or should it be Jabari Smith if he plays?
Looking at tonight, Dwight Powell he hurt us in the paint. Jalen Green had 42 points last night against the Timberwolves. They beat a good Timberwolves team. But of course the Rockets, they're very inconsistent. They actually swept us last year. But I would say focus on Sengun, man. He's a guy that can definitely get Gafford in foul trouble very early. Gaff got in foul trouble very early. Sengun has a lot of moves up and unders. He's a very good passer as well. So I'm intrigued to see how Gafford matches up with Sengun because Sengun has been cooked. He's been on a heater lately. And Jalen Green too. We usually let guards go off against us. You know, Jalen Brunson. We played against the Knicks the first time. He had 30. You look at Luka tonight. I don't have the stat sheet in front. Luka had 40 tonight easily. Jalen Green is a guy that could definitely go off against you, and Eric Gordon too is a guy that can definitely hurt you as well. So, but we got to protect the paint tonight. We let a lot of points get in the paint, but of course that was mainly Luka. Luka was bodying guys, and Luka was hooking a couple times too. He hooked Anthony Gill. He was throwing the chicken wing and hooking guys. I thought he was getting away with that a couple times. Like I said, I see some people blaming the refs already in the comments. We're gonna get to comments soon. I'm not a guy that blames refs, but Luka was getting away with some stuff. So tomorrow we definitely gotta be physical with these guys. They're young guys. They can run. They're gonna push the pace. So we got to play at our pace, and I think we can run with them, of course. But if we do need to slow it down, we certainly should do that too. But I think we need a big game from Bradley Beal. I don't see anybody that can really guard Bradley Beal. I don't see anybody on the other side of the ball that can really guard Kuzma either tomorrow night as well. And then we're just gonna have to lock down defense. I will put DeLon right on Jalen Green because he's a guy that can certainly get hot.
Man, I'll tell you again, great minds definitely think alike. That is something I was thinking about. I would definitely put DeLon on Jalen Green, but you're right on Sengun, man. I think that a lot of teams they make their money in the paint against us. So the spotlight is on two people. One, like you said, Bradley Beal. I think this is a performance where Bradley Beal, he needs to be dominant. He needs to come in and do his thing. He needs to be his scoring self, and then let everybody else kind of follow through. Gafford, you got to stay out of foul trouble, man. They're going to come at him. Look, they came at him tonight. Then when it was like the blood in the water, man. When they knew he was in foul trouble, they came right at him, man. And it showed. He got flustered. Look, get some composure, man. Don't fall for the pump fakes all the time. Really take ownership of the paint. Because when Gaff is on his game, when he's got that confidence, when he's dunking on folk, man, look, he can control the paint. Tomorrow night, control the paint. I think the biggest key to victory for me is this: team basketball, not just ball movement, not just communication, playing as a team, every aspect of the game. Come into Houston and own that court. Start out strong, keep the foot on the pedal, and move because they're a young team, but we got vets. We got guys who are proven in this league, man. And it starts with Bradley Beal, franchise guy. This is time for him to take charge and really run this game. Same thing with Kuz, man. With KP being out, these two guys, they need to come out and they really need to be aggressive. So I think if they do that, if they're aggressive and if they're able to play as a team, because really that's the key to victory at most games this year, man. Going forward, for this team to get out of the hole and really get back to 500, is playing as a team. So that would be my keys to victory going forward, man. So, you got anything else before we get into the comments, man?
Tommy Shepard said that the reason why they traded Rui, this was an interview with Megan McPeak on NBC Sports Washington before the game. They said they're trying to get more minutes for Denny Avdi. I think was a really big reason behind this trade. Denny was playing less and less, and I think that's somebody we see as a big part of our future moving forward. I thought Denny stepped up tonight. I don't agree with what Tommy Shepard said. I think the real reason behind it is because they couldn't work out a contract extension, and also they want to pay Kuzma. And then Woj, Agent Woj Narowski also said that Rui wasn't happy that he wasn't finishing games. So there's obviously more to the story than just that. Tommy Shepard, he is a salesman, as people say. He's very political, so he's not gonna tell the media the real reason. And Denny was getting big minutes while Rui was still there. To be honest with you, and there was times where Rui was out. Rui was out with his injury, the lower leg injury, and Denny was getting big minutes. So I just don't agree with what Tommy Shepard said there. It is what it is. But I'm just happy that Denny played well. Also, if you guys didn't hear, the Wizards are interested in guess who? Serge Ibaka.
Oh Lord. Look, man, 5 to 10 years ago, absolutely, man. But we'll see. Going into those comments by Tommy, man, I think we all know what it is. It's he definitely playing the politician. He's saying what he needs to say on air, but we kind of know what it was. It had a lot to do with contract, and I get it, man. I guess looking forward, would Denny be a better fit considering we're trying to implement a defensive system? That's the only thing I can really think of. Because when you look at Rui, man, his time in DC, he was successful. Now injuries took his toll, but was it really the right system with it being supposedly a defensive system? I think in the right system he's going to flourish, and I think the same thing with Denny, man. In this system his defense flourishes. And obviously the shot's not where we wanted to be, but yeah, he's being political, but I can kind of see where they're going with it as far as his fit in the system. So I'm gonna leave it at there. I'm very impressed by Denny tonight. He showed out. He really filled that void that we needed, that scoring punch off the bench. So, I'm very impressed. I really have nothing bad to say about him. So we're gonna get into some comments. We're probably gonna do about 3 to 5 comments because I know it's a little late. So let's get into it. All right, perfect findings. Oh,
I'm sorry. No, yeah, go ahead.
no, you're good, man. We can roll with it.
Yeah.
Red Wings 01. What's going on, man? Leave it a bill to turn it over at the most opportune time. He already covered it, man. I think they need to figure something else with him bringing the ball up, man. He continues to do the same thing. Look, I like Bill, man. He's still a good scorer in his league, but as a basketball enthusiast, I feel like he has the same moves. He has the same moves, a step back. He's got to kind of divvy his moves up, man, because defenses see that. They're starting, like you said, he should have saw the double team coming. So I think he needs to be a little less predictable if he wants to be that guy bring the ball up. Because right now I don't think he needs to be that guy.
Yeah, we saw this against the Heat where he dribbled off his foot. We saw it against the Hornets where he dribbled off his foot. I can count too many times where he's done. He was doing this during the John Wall era, so this is nothing new. This is something that he's done throughout his career. Great player, all-star caliber player. Had a solid game today, but he just has to improve at that. Or West needs to do something different. Monte Morris can bring the ball up, and Brad can come off a screen. I'd rather see that where he's not dribbling the ball, Ray Allen style, just come off a screen and shoot, or Kyle Kuzma come off a screen and just shoot, or Porzingis when he gets back. There's so many more options than we have. Way too talented of a roster to just rely on Bradley Beal doing an isolation with 5 seconds left and dribbling the ball off his foot. So it's very frustrating. I know West can come up with a better play call than that. I know he can. I think he can. I'm pretty sure he can. So, but I just haven't seen it. I haven't seen it so far. And we know Kuz is coming to clutch many times before. So I just don't know why they keep forcing that. I just don't know why.
Yeah, I don't either, man. Oh, go ahead, bro.
No, you go ahead.
Yeah, I don't get it either, man. I don't, if something doesn't work and it continues to fail, why continue to try to do it? That's my only thing with that. He doesn't need to be the guy to bring the ball up. Now, with that last shot, I don't have a problem with him or Kuz being that guy to have the last shot. But bringing the ball up, I just don't think it needs to happen anymore. Perfect findings. We almost lost because of ISO ball, Bill. This is why Rui's trade was good. We played together. One hero ball is enough. I agree and I disagree. That turnover was ISO-ish, but I feel like overall as a team, including Bradley Beal, they played well with ball movement. I don't think ISO was an issue tonight. Now, looking at Rui, Rui tended to be a black hole. He was a very ISO-heavy guy. So I think maybe, to a certain degree, you're right. With him being, on another team, maybe, we see more fluid ball movement, especially on the second unit. So, yeah, I agree and disagree.
This is why the Rui trade was good. We play together. I wouldn't say that. Yeah, Rui did have tunnel vision. That is true, and Brad made some good passes tonight too. So he wasn't really just balling, but we had 38 assists as a team. So we did move the ball tonight. I thought Bradley Beal was a big part of moving the ball as well. But just towards the end of the games, we have to do something better than that. We just have to. I still don't think the Rui trade was good, but I get why it was inevitable. Rui didn't want to be here, so you can't force a guy that doesn't want to be here to be here. So, it is what it is on that. Kendrick Nunn did suit up tonight, did not play, so we'll see if he plays tomorrow. I do want to see him play. I don't think he's going to be here for long, but, if he's going to be on the roster, then, I guess we'll see him play. Jordan Goodwin was on the bench in street clothes. I want to see him get back in the lineup too, so we'll see about that. Siva says, DeLon, geez, never let you down. But another move to be reminded, Denny fouled on Luka after Brad's turnover. Lucky he got 1 out of 2, and Denny took the rebound. I crowned Denny and DeLon for the MVP. Yeah, that was good. That was good effort by DeLon. That foul. I'm sorry, by Denny and DeLon fouling Luka. That was good effort because they definitely could have gave up and just let them have it, and they didn't give up. That those two guys are our best defenders on the team, and they give the most effort on the defensive side of the ball. We need more guys that are defensive minded on the team, and that is one thing I would do give Denny. He is a defensive minded guy. Delon is clearly a defensive minded guy, and both those guys. We don't win this game without those guys tonight.
Absolutely not. I completely agree with everything you said. Let's see. Refs helped who? Luca was getting every call under the sun. Look, we were talking before the podcast, man. Look, yeah, I mean, you can't say much about officiating because Luca got how many calls? I mean, Luca was like he got whatever he wanted in the paint. So I'm like man. I'm not one of these people that blame officiating, especially when you see him getting that all-star treatment, and we still was able to win the game. So, look, it is what it is. So,
right, yeah, the refs were kind of bad on both sides, but the whole take foul thing, I thought that was getting ridiculous. I thought that was just getting out of hand. And if they would have called Brad for a flagrant, I would have been very upset. That would have been ridiculous because he literally just fell. He I think it was Tim Hardaway. He kind of put his hand near his leg. If they would have called that a flagrant, that would have been ridiculous. And Luka got basically every call tonight. Anytime you touched him, he was going to the free throw line. Ezra Teague, I'm just gonna look at this real quick. He said Ruiz out, the defense is sharp. I'm not just gonna say I don't agree with that the defense was sharp. We gave up how many points tonight? We gave up 127. We gave up 126 points tonight. So it's hard to say the defense was sharp tonight. During the clutch, yes, it was sharp. But it's hard to say the defense was sharp when you give up 126 points.
Yeah, and I think it's way too soon to judge whether we're, anything about Rui being gone. It's one game. I will admit that Denny stepped up in his absence, but I think it's too soon to really say, whether we're going to be better or not without him. But we'll go ahead and do one more comment because I know it's late. From Diego Mejias and Brandon, y'all got to admit that West low-key outcoached Jason Kidd today. I thought West coached a perfect game. I wouldn't say perfect, man. I would say that the one problem I did have was with keeping Gafford in. I felt like he could have took him out, put somebody else in, but outcoached. I'll say this: he's getting better with strategy. He's getting better with rotations, but I don't know if he outcoached Jason Kidd. But I think he playing or coaching against a coach like Jason Kidd, who's been in the league. I think he's doing better strategizing against these kind of older seasoned coaches. What do you think, E?
Yeah, I think he did do a good job against Jason Kidd. I thought he did a good job, having us locked on defense. I thought he stepped up. He should have called a timeout. They had a run. They went on an 8-0 run. I thought he could have called a timeout there when the Mavericks come back because we had a lead on them for the majority of the game in the third or fourth quarter. But I thought this is one of Wes's better games. He did go zone. It helped a little bit, but we were getting cut up with that too. Dwight Powell was getting easy baskets, and they started to double Luka. They slowed him down a little bit, but it hurt at the same time. But he did get Kuz some open looks. He got Kisper some open looks. So I thought offensively he did a better job tonight. And the rotations were easier for him just because there were less people. When there's less people available, that's when Wes is at his best. When we have a full team, sometimes it's tough for Wes to get guys in rhythm and get a rotation going.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Definitely appreciate everybody waiting for us and definitely chopping it up with us tonight. Now, thank you for making.
Oh yeah, one thing. Sorry to interrupt you. Did y'all see Denny with the crossover with the finish from left to right, from right to left? That was the play of the game for me. That was other than the DeLon Wright steal. That was some improvement for Denny.
Man, I'm glad you said something. Yeah, I was very impressed with that because they even mentioned it on the broadcast. Man, I mean that was you're starting to see him really get better with driving. He's when he, like I said all the time, man, when he has that motivation, when he's a good player. He's trying to drive the ball with more fire. So no, I definitely agree with that. But like I said, definitely appreciate everybody showing out tonight, man. I know it's late, so definitely appreciate everybody chopping it up with us tonight. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. Now make your second listen game to game NBA. Every moment, every top performance, every result. Locked On Game to Game covers every game from across the NBA with local analysis that only Locked On can deliver. Follow Game to Game on Locked On NBA, available on Odyssey app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Now on YouTube, try to help us out now. We're close to 3,000 subscribers, so definitely like, subscribe, definitely hit that notification button, and try to get to 3K. Me and my dude, the real Ed Oliver, we chop it up all the time on Twitter and Instagram, so definitely follow and check us out. So again, appreciate everybody. Tomorrow night, 8 o'clock, we are in Houston playing a very young and hungry Houston Rockets team that I believe is a very winnable game for us. So definitely tune in, show your support, and try to get this dub. So again, we get the dub tonight. Big, much needed dub tonight. And everybody have a good evening and peace. Hail to the Wizards.